What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my new and improved 2,000 point Mont'ka list. So we're actually going to be starting with my characters today because a really important point I want to make is that Shadowsun and Farsight being in this list help a lot because Mont'ka has a lot of good stratagems. And Shadowsun's ability is if you're within 6 inches of her, right, and you do a stratagem on a 5+, you can gain a CP back. And then Farsight's ability is he can -1 command point or -1 CP to any stratagem I want to do for his unit. And essentially that is going to save me 2 CP, right? Potentially 2 CP, every battle round I want to use that. So that's really strong in Montka, and it does help a lot, especially when you kind of want that Overwatch, but you don't want to spend your last CP. You have Shadowsun there, you decide to Overwatch, you roll that 5 up, it feels really good. And then with Farsight, what I did is I put him with the Plasma Fire Knife. So that wasn't really my original thinking. I heard it on another channel, but I did try them out, and they are really good. Because strength 8 AP3 damage doesn't seem so great on paper. Obviously, it is a really strong profile, but one shot, strength 8 AP3 damage with 18-inch range doesn't seem like the greatest thing on paper. But when you add that +1 to wound with it, and they're re-rolling the hit roll, it's really strong in Mont'ka, getting those lethals through. And if I don't get the lethals through, I'm still +1 to wound. So, that really helps a lot. And then we're gonna go over here to the standard Pathfinders. I always put the 3 ion rifles. I give them the -2 to charge drone because I like to play them out in the field more. I think that they're really good at playing the game early and denying primaries, and also doing secondaries because, if you don't have enough shots to kill 10 guys, I could do a secondary and, hopefully they stay alive. But so I do run the Pathfinders and Darkstrider, but I do not put Darkstrider with them because I don't want 11 guys together that are easy to kill, because this now gives me 3 guys instead of 2, right? And Darkstrider's ability with +1 to wound, the Pathfinders don't survive long enough for me to really use that ability. So my play style is more separating them. Then I have an extra piece to do secondaries and an extra piece to guide for me. Then we have the stealth suit team. So obviously, they're great reroll ones to hit and wound, great at secondaries. Actually really good at screening as well and charging into things that don't have good melee. So if that's ever something you need to do, stealth suits are a unit that is pretty good at that. That I am starting to realize. I've done that a few times now. And a lot of the times they survive, right? So then now we're going to go over here and start with my more Cal Yun side. And these are the only Kroot that I'm taking now in this list because I want to max out damage output. And yes, I love the Lone Spear and the Kroot Hounds together. They're really strong, but I wanted to see, okay, what would change if I tried to just go all damage output, just really try to max out my damage. And these guys are really good because when you kind of need somebody to skirmish in a tight spot, they're really good at punching up with those mortals. And a lot of the times people aren't really expecting that from them, is what I've started to learn. They kind of see them as just Kroot, and they get charged and you roll 2 4-ups out of 3, and then you do 4, maybe 5 mortals, right? They're like, oh crap, like what just happened? So these guys are actually really strong. Plus they have a lot of attacks. So if you just have a horde, they're really good against horde. If you have something tough, they're, those mortals can punch through something tough. After I start shooting you and lowering your wound count, those mortals can take you out pretty easily, right? And then they also have grenades, and then they have some pistols that aren't the greatest, but it's some extra shots, so they can do a lot of damage. Then I have a Ghostkeel. So the Ghostkeel I think is important in Mont'ka because you need that piece that's gonna bait people out, meaning like he's not easy to kill, so you have to put something strong into him. And what I want to do is I want to bait their strength out, because I want you to have to deal with the Ghostkeel and then say like, dang, now my biggest, strongest thing is just out in the open for everything else to shoot it, right? So that's kind of the Ghostkeel's job in Montka. He does die a lot faster because of that, but you know, you have to bring out your strongest thing. And if your strongest thing is the only thing on my side of the board, I have the ability to, you know, screen out other units and then target down that strong thing, or I can kill the things around you because you're just so focused on trying to kill this one Ghostkeel, and then you have less point scoring units. So the Ghostkeel allows me to be very adaptable, which is something that I talk about. Because it's hard to deal with the Ghostkeel, you can't just put something weak into him. So people having to give up something really strong in their army early allows the Mont'ka ability to become very, very useful. And then I have the Devilfish, which I did start the Pathfinders in to give it the pregame move because I want to be fast. I want to get up there as fast as possible, and I will also. It's sort of like the Ghostkeel, right? The Devilfish is something that's pretty tough. You can't just put something weak into the Devilfish and expect it to die, right? It even survives really, really strong attacks sometimes. So having the Devilfish with the Pathfinders, and then I'll usually scout Darkstrider into it, or I'll have Darkstrider start in the Devilfish and have the Pathfinder scout into it, just depending on what I feel like would be the best move in that situation. And sometimes I'll keep Darkstrider out. You know, it just depends on what I need to do. Then we have Broadsides. So Broadsides in Mont'ka, I took the Plasma and I took the Seeker. So I will usually take the Indirect and the Ignore modifiers, but I think the Seeker missiles help if I want to use them really early, especially with lethals. So, you know, they're both kind of even to me. I don't think one variation is better than the other. But I do like the plasma rifles in Mont'ka just because they're really it's only 2 shots, but AP 3 damage can knock something, and twin linked can knock something with a lot of wounds or a lot of toughness down surprisingly fast, right? You know, you get multiple shots throughout the 5 turns, you know, that can actually really, really add up, those plasma rifles. It's similar to Farsight's unit. That AP 3 damage really starts to add up when you think about the long game, right? So then we're also going to go here to my strike team. I didn't have enough points for breachers, so I really wanted to try this strike team, and I put a Cadre with him, and I gave him the coordinated exploitation, which means whenever they guide for somebody, they get the unit that they are guiding for gets sustained hits 1. The main reason I did that was because I wanted to buff the Stormsurge as much as possible, right? So I kept Shadowsun around the Stormsurge, and I used them a lot to guide for the Stormsurge, just so I could get sustained hits, and then I could also get reroll ones to hit. So that works out pretty well in this, because getting a lethal on top of a sustained obviously will help the Stormsurge, you know, a ton. That's going to help him a lot. And they're also very good late game when I need a lot of OC. Right? And I don't really care about killing something on the objective. I just need to deny your points, or, you know, score points by doing like storm hostile objective, right? Something like that, where I really just want to throw something cheaper out, but it's later in the game. I need something cheaper with a lot of OC, and they're very, very good for that. So late game, right, like round 3, 4, these guys are very, very good to come out and try to deny or score primaries and secondaries. Then we're going to go the Riptide. So with the Riptide, I went the Ion. Obviously, I have the heavy burst cannon, but I went the Ion. I went the Plasma Rifle, right, because that AP 3 damage. And then I had the 2 missile pod drones. Now, the Riptide, obviously, everybody knows why the Riptide is great. I don't have to go into great detail about it. 2 up, 4 up in bone, T9, 14 wounds. Everybody knows why it's great, right? So this is just so y'all can see the paint job. All right, so going over to the Stormsurge. Now, the Stormsurge, I changed the weapon. I used to go the Pulse Driver, which is I think the strength 12 AP 3 damage, but it's blast. And it's D6 plus 3 shots. I changed it out to go with the pulse blast cannon. So that's the one that's strength like 24, 26, one of those, like I think it's strength 24, AP 6, 12 flat damage, but it's 2 shots. Or it can be strength 10, AP 2, 4 flat, right? And I realized that was just better because obviously the strength 24, AP 6, 12 damage, right? If you don't have something with an invuln, doesn't matter if you have a 2-up save, it's just gone. Right, like land raiders, screamer killers, you know, even if you have an invuln, you fail that one invuln, you know, that's 12 flat damage. That's scary, right? A lot of people are going to be scared of that, and it's kind of like more of a mind game. But then what I realized is really good is the other profile, strength 10, AP 2, 4 damage, and then you use the strat to give him +1 AP against a certain target. Now, all of his small weapons have AP, right? Now, the strength 10 AP 2 goes to strength 10 AP 3, 4 damage, right? So that AP 2 versus AP 3 is a big deal, especially against things like Space Marines or anything with any kind of armor of contempt ability, right? That AP 2 to AP 3 makes a big difference a lot of the times, right? And then all his smaller weapons getting +1 AP and is really, really strong. So then you're guiding him. He's getting sustained hits 1. He's re-rolling 1s to hit. I do a stratagem to give him +1 CP. If Shadowsun is within 6 on a 5-up, I can gain that that CP back, right? Now, that's a really strong combination that does come up once or twice a game, right? And I played a game recently against Tyranids, against my brother actually, and he killed 2 Maleceptors in 2 turns, right? Maleceptors have, 3-up, 4-up, 3-up saves, 4-up invulns with like 14 wounds. And they were getting a feel no pain from something in the Tyranid army. And it just completely took them off the board, right? Now, that's why I think that the Stormsurge is a lot better with this variation, because it just gives you more options versus the driver cannon that's just strength 12 AP 3 damage, right? Then we have the Skyray. I took the Skyray because I didn't have the extra 5 points to add in the Hammerhead, but I actually like the Skyray in this detachment because it has marker lights. And then the other thing I was saying in previous videos, if you have a Skyray, let's say you have the Skyray near Shadowsun, right? And you roll a 1, 2, and a 3 to hit. Shadowsun allows you to re-roll the 1. You can re-roll the 2 because of a data sheet re-roll. And then the 3 just hits, right? And then to wound, it's twin linked. So you can essentially get full re-rolls in a lot of ways, either being guided by the stealth suits, right, or being by Shadowsun. So it can be really, really strong, being AP 3, D6 +1 damage, and then having a marker light. So this can guide a lot of the times. A lot of the times you don't really need to guide him. Because a lot of times he's going to be going into, 2-up, 4-up invulns, right? 2-up saves and 4-up invulns. So AP 3, okay, you get cover, right? You're just on your 4-up invuln anyways, right? So he's really going to be good into units with 2-ups and 4-ups, or with 3-ups and 4-ups, right? And even if they don't have an invuln, he's going to be even better, right? So then I'm going to have the Piranha, and the Piranha is just early point scoring, just kind of move blocking. He can be really strong at tank shocking. I think that's kind of known now. And then I do always go the Fusion Blaster and the missile pods. I mean, not the missile pods, the Seeker missiles and the gun drones. All right, so that's my 2,000 point Mont'ka army list, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for coming.